This is episode 163 of the Double Cross Anime Podcast. I'm Whooper, and here's Mario.
Hello, everyone.
This is the fall 2023 First Impressions episode. I don't know how many of these we've done now, but whatever number it is, I've got to say this. I think there's going to be the biggest difference between my opinion on some of these shows and Mario's. Typically, we
Oh, really?
fall more or less in line.
Yep.
With a few stark differences on maybe a couple shows here and there. This time, I think it might just be chaos all over the board, so to speak.
All right. My own opinion is that they sell the best for last. So like all the good show the show that I personally looking forward to haven't been aired yet. So we got Pluto, we got the other show that will air like a week from now.
The Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah, that one. And some of the other shows that didn't make our top 10, but I watch it and I like it. I like it more than like some of these offering here.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I've only seen these 10 series. I don't think I've seen any premieres from any other fall anime, but I would hope that there are some other better shows like
Yep.
lurking somewhere in this batch
Yep.
beyond the 10 series that we're about to talk about.
Yep. I would say for me there's a clear difference between the top two and the rest.
Yeah, for me, there's one show that is obviously better than everything else,
All right.
and
All right.
everything else I could just I would, you know,
Gonna die.
yeah. If I had to put them on a scale, for example, I would put the one series on the one side
Yep.
of the
Yep. Yep.
scale, and the other nine I would just couldn't even balance it out. Like I would leave them to die and save the one if I
All
had
right.
to.
I wonder how long we will get to that show then.
Well, we are going to do things in alphabetical order as usual.
Yep.
So I can tell you that it won't be, well,
It will be for a
I
while.
don't know whether whether or not it'll be first alphabetically.
Yep.
Kind of depends, which also gives away, if you sit down and analyze it, that kind of gives away what my favorite series is. But we'll get there eventually, either
Yep.
way.
Yep. All right, to the first one, uh, Hoshikuzu Telepath
Okay. Yeah, Hoshikuzu
or
Telepath.
Stardust Telepath.
Right. Yeah. See, that's what I was wondering about. Like, were we doing English or Japanese names for alphabetical order? Looks like
Yep.
we're doing Japanese.
And you just said you don't remember how many how many first impression that we do so far. I would say that we do it at the beginning of 2018, 5 years, 5 times 4, so that should be around 20
No, this is
impressions.
6 years.
This is it 6 years?
Yeah, because I mean the difference between 2023 and 2018 is 5, but that
Yep.
means there's been 6. So 2018,
Yep, that's
2019,
true.
2020, then
Yep.
21, 22, and 23.
So 6 and 4 is like 24. We do
Yeah.
24s of this already.
Yeah. There were a couple snags. There was the summer 2020 season, or was it spring? I think summer 2020, where the first impressions episode was only 4 shows, and our first impressions episode was also kind of unofficial. But yeah.
All right.
Well, we're kicking this one off with Hoshikuzu Telepath. How did you like it?
I like it well enough. It's about a girl who's very shy and wish to be to make friend with an alien, and and below a girl who appeared to her in her class claim to be an alien. So
Yeah.
they take off.
Yeah, Haruhi style.
Yep. Oh well, I like the premise well enough. I mean by that I mean like that girl, the pink hair girl, her name is Yui or Akuchi. Let's go for their surname. She claimed to be an alien, and I think it doesn't matter it really doesn't matter if she is an alien or not, because this is the story about the other girl who is shy and who want to make a connection, and she is making a connection with the new girl.
Yeah. It does seem to be kind of an anxious high schooler makes a friend type of show.
Hmm.
And there have been a bunch of those recently.
Yeah. Oh,
Komi-san Bochizarak,
yeah.
Hitori Bochi's Maru Maru Life. I can't remember how the full Japanese title for that one.
Yep.
And a bunch of others, but those are the three that kind of jump to mind, at least for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's usually female protagonists in these sorts of shows, thinking
Mhm.
about it. And I guess
Yep.
that's just because Japan is obsessed with anime girls. I don't know. I mean, there must be a show where it's like a high school boy who's really nervous about making friends. And I don't say like hypothetically there must be one. I'm saying there must be one, and I just can't remember it right now. But
Hmm.
there less of that kind of anime gets made, I suppose.
Yep.
Hoshikuzu Telepath. I thought this episode was okay.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
expected that you were gonna hate this.
nah.
Honestly,
It's cute. It's still cute girl doing cute things. So I have a good time watching it. Whether it's something that I want to watch more, I'm not sure. I might give this 3 episodes try
on your maybe list.
on my maybe list. Yes. But
I mean,
yeah,
I will say when this episode started, I was a lot more into it than I ended up being by the end.
right.
Because this sort of series I've seen, like I watched all of Hitoribochi,
Yeah.
and I watched the whole first season of Komi-san, and of course I watched Bochi the Rock. Um,
They
so I think maybe I'm just a little burnt out on this sort of show because
yeah.
by the end of it, like the scene on the roof of the school where she's uh, like gritting her teeth and screwing up her eyes and like blurting out this list of facts about herself that she uses to introduce herself to the alien girl.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
By the time we hit that point, I was like, "Come on, this
You know,
can't be that hard."
yeah, well, you know, like on the show that you just mentioned, the direction and the visual are actually pretty good, and this one is pale in comparison to that. For one thing,
I don't. I mean, I agree that it's the least of the four shows. If we're putting them together in a group, I agree that it would rank at the bottom. But honestly, I thought that this show was animated and directed reasonably well. Like the art direction in particular didn't make me want to like throw up into the nearest trash can.
hmm
Um, it
hmm
kind of has a softer look to it. The lines have like variable length for the
yep,
backgrounds, and
hmm
there seems to be some attention to how the school buildings look.
hmm
Uh, instead of them just looking like a school in any school anime, where everything
yep.
is very kind of sterile looking and all the desks are carbon copies of one another. I thought it was all right. I liked the majority of the cutaways, like the little cutaways to I guess I don't remember whether they were chibi sections or not.
I don't think so. I don't recall any chibi section. Are
Yeah,
they?
I don't
I don't
remember
think
whether
so.
they are. Typically, when anime will like cut away from the action and do like a little humorous thing against kind of a
Yep,
screen tone background, as
yep,
though it's emulating a little manga panel.
yep,
Usually, in this sort of show, they'll get a little chibi, but
yep,
I'm not sure that
yep,
this one
yep.
did. Anyway, I thought those little scenes went over reasonably well. Also,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm I like the. There's a lot of things that I like about it. I just I got tired of it. Like it wore me down, I think.
Oh, that's sad to hear because I think there's some moment in this episode that really amused me, like the one where the girl trying to communicate with the new friend by the alien language, the saying hello, and that girl just going to talk the whole thing in alien, and like the soundtrack really, the voice tracks really have fun doing these sounds, this papa wah or something along that
Are you
line.
which voice actress are you talking about? Because
The alien
event
girl.
yeah, eventually she does. Yeah, Umika wants to talk to her
Yep.
in an alien language, and you think to yourself, oh well, that's just nonsense that humans have come up with. But eventually, you or whatever
Yep.
Akeuchi, I think you said her surname was,
Yep.
she responds in an actual alien language, which sounds more or less like what Umika was attempting to say.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So that is kind of an interesting uh, idea, is that Umika is not just like a complete fool, and she does have some idea of how she might communicate with an alien.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Kind of makes me wonder whether she really is an alien.
Umika
Like she
is
might actually be one.
huh. Well, she have that like the whole textbook thing of like how to communicate with an alien, and she just try to take some advice, or like take some simple phrase from that book.
Right.
But
Yeah, the same way that anybody would in like, well, pre-cell phone.
that
Before cell phones, when you went to a foreign country, you might have like a little book that you bought
yeah,
at
I
I don't
think
know.
I had one. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was in Spain, I have the dictionary and all these, like uh greeting in Spanish, like
Right.
something like that. Yes.
Yeah. Where's the bathroom?
Mhm. And yeah, and I don't really buy though the second half where you show Umika her place. So her place is in the
Lighthouse.
lighthouse, and she said she lived there, and she said like she lose all her memory before she waking up and realized that she now a student in a human form.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What do you mean you don't buy it?
I don't buy that
Like you
she lived
don't
there.
think she's an alien, or you didn't like the scene?
I didn't feel that it's credible the way that like she lived there she lived there for the duration of uh of the time where she come to study, and so for at least a few days, and where do she eat, where do I yeah, well,
Where does she eat? Obviously, she just dives into the ocean, off the coast and catches fish with her mouth.
all right,
She's an alien after all.
yeah, well, I'm thinking about the the Pixar movies look at just like that as well.
Hmm. I haven't seen it,
Mm.
but I've probably seen a film where a character like dives in the water and catches fish with their mouth, and then like emerges. There's a shot up above the water, and you see them break through the surface of the river or whatever. They've got a fish in their mouth and it's flopping around. I'm
Yep,
sure I've
yep,
seen
yep, yep.
something like that. Yeah, I don't know whether she's really an alien, but I would love. I'm not sure I'm going to watch any more of this show, but honestly, I would love if there were. Um, I just
An
completely
alien,
lost my train of thought.
an actual alien's plot line.
No, I would love if there were an episode where y- you takes Umika back to her planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If
Yep.
if she were really an alien and she eventually like locates her spaceship or something and
I
they go to her
Well,
planet, that would be
I think
great.
the show would go two ways, and that's something that I kind of invested to find out which way it goes. So one of them is that you is the actual alien, and we have some episode of debuting the spaceship, and eventually you will invite Umika to her planet, And the second scenario is that you is actually a human and she lost some memories because of some trauma.
Right.
Uh, and
That might be more likely.
yeah, and we find out about more about her family situation or something. So she tried to run away from her house, and then something happened that yeah, she forgot all about that, and we come to learn more about her. I would think that it's more likely the second scenario, but I would love for it to be the first one. So that the actual alien thing that 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 might happen. I would prefer that.
Yeah. Well, I guess if either of us decide to continue watching the show, we'll
We
find out. But
That's true.
for now, I don't think it's
All
particularly
right.
likely.
Yeah, I put it 7 out of 10.
So did I.
Hmm. And one put in that show on his maybe list, and the other one just doesn't want to watch it anymore.
Well, I mean, I'm ruthless.
That's true.
If I don't like a first episode, that show is getting kicked to the curb, man.
Yeah.
That show is up for adoption. That show is getting a bullet in the back of the head.
All right, adoption is not the next show that we're gonna talk about, but we will eventually talking about a show that have adoption.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
all right, so the next one is also Whooper choice. We did mention that the first show that we just talking about was Whooper or choice, and this one is also Whooper choice. MF Ghost.
Well, it's our list.
Yep.
We got our
That's
own way
true.
of making it. Yeah, MF Ghost. This is one that it's got the initial D connection.
Yep.
Not that I'm a big initial D fan, but that was just enough for me to be like, maybe it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think it's weird though that they want to have like a sort of connection with the initial D. So I think the character design, for example, is a throwback to the original show. But even like the setting is completely different, right? Because this is based on some kind of like alternative future where car racing is become like something of a hobby or something.
Well, it's like electric vehicles have
Yep.
taken over. So this is, I guess, I don't know if it's set in the future or if it's just an alternate reality. Like I don't know, for example, what year it takes place in,
Yep.
but EVs are just everywhere, and there are barely any cars with quote unquote regular engines, internal combustion engines, like typical cars have.
Yep.
And so people like a form of racing has arisen out of the situation, I guess, which is called MFG, which just means your car has to have an internal combustion engine, and the only rule is that like there's a weight to grip ratio. So the heavier your car is, the wider your tires have to be.
Huh. Okay.
And
All
that's
right.
in theory that's supposed to make it even for all different types of cars.
Yep.
I don't think that's actually the case in reality, but that's the show's premise.
All right. And like with that premise, it moved itself away from the initial D, universe. So I don't know why if want to be any connection with the initial D. That's my point.
Well, obviously because Initial D made a million zillion dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's true. But as far as the first episode goes, we didn't actually see any car racing yet. We about to get into it, and it cut to like the end credit.
Right.
I say that I still have a good time watching it. How about you?
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Hmm.
I'm not particularly like I saw some reactions to this episode like, where's the racing?
Yep. Yep.
But Initial D doesn't get to its first race until like 4 episodes in or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
And so this one, promises for there to be a race in the second episode, probably at the very start of the second episode, given the cliffhanger, if you can really call it a cliffhanger, just the to be continued, I guess. So I'm fine with it. In fact, I kind of enjoyed the fact that it was a little like it didn't jump straight into the race, and it was a little bit slower pace,
Hmm.
and it was more of a getting to know you type of premiere,
Yep.
where we learned about Kanata, the
Yep.
main character. The fact that he was raised in
Helpful.
England.
Yep.
Yeah, raised in England, and he's come to Japan to find his father, and he only has the one photo of his dad,
Yep.
and it's at where Katakura. Yeah, the photo was taken in Katakura, so he relies on the girl at the house where he's doing a homestay
Yep.
to go there and maybe find some clues about where his dad lives. And there's a hint that I think his mom has passed away.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's scenes of him talking to the guy who runs the auto shop
Mm-hmm.
and getting to know one of the other racers whose name was what was that guy's name?
Oh,
It started with an A, right?
all right. Good point.
The
I
guy who's
remember.
obsessed with Ren. Oh, Aiba is his
Ah,
name.
right. The senpai guy. Yeah,
Yeah, the
well,
senpai. Him getting to know Aiba and meeting Ren.
yeah,
Yeah, it was just a nice little introduction. It wasn't anything, it wasn't like hyper exaggerated or anything. I kind of liked that it felt quote unquote normal.
yep. I actually really like the fact that we have two of the encouraging shows in this season, and we're gonna talk about the other one later as well. And the first two episodes, their first episodes are vastly different, so they got like their own strength and weakness. For this one, I also like the fact that the show really take time to go into it, so we know more about Kanata, and we know about the carry scene before he get into the wheel. For the I just don't really buy the cross between Rain and the guy.
Why, man?
Just
He's
because
handsome.
love at first
Well, I mean,
sight. I
in
just
initial D terms, he's handsome.
yep. And y- yeah, I like it well enough though. I and even like on the CG, like carries, it doesn't look distracting at all. That
Yeah, it
that
looks
that kind of
okay.
sup- that kind of surprised me. So, but we then again we haven't get into like the main racing yet, so
Yeah, that's true.
we don't know.
Both in this show and in Overtake, I thought the CG was okay.
No
You know,
overtake. I had issue with that.
really.
Yep, we
Oh,
talk about that later on.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yep, we get
I
there.
you don't buy Ren's crush on the guy. I mean, it is like a fall in love at first sight moment.
Thingy. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
and different people have different reactions to that sort of thing. And of
Hmm.
course, depending on like how the show or film executes it will also depend on whether somebody uh is into it or not. Personally, I personally don't believe in love at first sight at all.
Hmm.
Um but for this show, I did think it was kind of neat that it started from a female perspective.
Right.
Obviously, that will not continue to be the case
Hmm. Hmm.
because this is MF Ghost. This is from the author of a series that was very male centric and mostly treated women as objects.
Yep.
So I just think it's nice that he acknowledged the fact that like the woman has some role to play in a relationship or an attraction between a man and a woman by
Yep.
starting with Ren's perspective.
All right.
Um, so
Yep.
I guess that's a point in the series' favor. It's nothing
And
crazy or anything, but
yeah,
it's nice to get inside her head a little bit.
I kind of like the fact that both Katana and Ren are related to the racing, but in different roles, and they don't know about each other's involvement.
Well, they
Um,
didn't.
they didn't until the very last minutes of the first episode where Ren see Kanata uh racing.
Right. Yeah, at the starting block, I guess, or the starting line. And he doesn't see her, so I wonder what her reaction is going to be, or what action she'll take. Like, is she going to try to hide her employment
Uh,
as an angel, or what whether
Yeah,
the show's going to do anything with that.
I never give that a thought before, but I think they might keep her job a secret for a while
Yeah. I think
before
she
can.
wears a wig when she does it
Yeah, she
because
wears a
there's a
wig. Yep.
yeah. We
We'll
didn't
see.
actually see her putting it on, I
All
don't
right.
think. But there's a
See.
clear difference in the shade of her hair color.
Yep. She wear the wings things, and she wear makeup. That for sure. I think she wear a wig as well. Yep.
Yeah. Her hair's
Just
light brown in those scenes. And it's not just because she's outside, because we see other scenes of her like in the sun outdoors and her hair is dark brown.
yep.
It's a different color when she dresses as an angel.
Hmm. I
So
think.
yeah, I guess she's already experienced at disguising herself in a manner of speaking, so maybe she'll try to keep it a secret from Kanata. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people complain about the character design. They said they just feel it dated. I don't. I'm fine with that personally. How about
Yeah, I
you?
mean, a lot of anime fans just want every anime character to look the same. They want them to have
Yep.
the same anime eyes and the same everything. It's the character design's fine.
Yep.
Plus, it's established. Like there have been designs like this because this is a quote unquote sequel. It's like a loose sequel to a really popular series, so
Yep. Yep.
it's fine.
Yep. Um. All right. You have any other note, or we just go with our score?
Um, I don't know. I guess I have other notes, but I don't really need to talk about them.
All right.
I'm good.
Yep. I put that 6 out of 10.
For me, it's number 2.
Oh wow! Really?
Yep.
Hmm. Interesting. I wonder what you think about the next show then.
Okay.
Mi- Migi to Dali. Migi and
Okay.
Dali.
Right.
All
Oh,
right.
interesting. Man, I really messed up with the. Oh, I see what's going on here. Yeah, Migi and Dali. Yes, this is definitely a show where a person might wonder what somebody else thinks of it because this show. I mean, this is a very weird show, and it might not even be the weirdest one out
What
of
do you
these
mean by
10.
that? Out of these
I just mean
10.
that there's another show in this little batch that you
All
know
right. I
could rival it in terms of strangeness.
all right. I will go ahead first then. I just think this show is ridiculous. Not
It's
in a good
certainly
way.
ridiculous.
Not in a good
Not in a
way.
good way. Oh, interesting. Okay.
It.
Well, why don't you detail some of the things that you found ridiculous about it? There are
Oh,
many to
well,
choose from.
there's so many to choose from, but let's go to the fact that they are twin and they try to hide uh one another, so they just appear to be one identity. All right, I just go straight to the ridiculous things. Remember the scene where they eating in on the on the dinner table, and
Yeah.
one of them just go under the table, the dinner table, and then they do the swatting.
Yep. The circus act.
Yeah, that's that one. Yeah, how is
Yeah.
that even possible?
Well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm willing to bet that there are
Yeah.
people who can do that, like on Earth. That's something that has been done before. Not this scenario where there are twins who are pretending to be one person, but I bet there are people who can like
All right.
switch places like that.
All right.
Gymnasts or no, not gymnasts, acrobats.
Mhm. All right. Let's
Um,
me go to the second scene then. It's the scene
okay.
where the father want to lift him up,
Yep.
and they do the things. They make a plan, the very elaborated plan uh uh to lift him up, to lift the son up, and the very flaw with that plan is that if the father open his eye, all the mothers, like just nearby and see there are two of them, their plan gonna fail.
Yeah,
But
well, not only that, they can't get down.
That's right. That is exactly right.
Yeah, because one of them is hanging from a branch in front of the father's face. The other one is, like his weight is counterbalanced by the other twin.
Yeah.
So he's
How
barely even resting on his father's shoulders, and he's got his arms around his eyes. So it's impossible for either of them to get down without him being alerted. He would
uh,
feel it either way.
yeah, that's right. That's right. And then we get to the very end where they like they show the day that the father and mother come to the orphanage
So you did
from.
watch the post-credit scene.
I did watch. I
I
they
was assuming that you skipped it.
no. I'm aware of the of the revealing. So yeah, I'm watching it. Uh, it just turned out that where we see like the light rain was why one of the kid who put the water hose uh to the cars. How is that even
Right.
possible? It's just so stupid. It's so ridiculous. I
Yes, it
cannot take
is.
it very seriously.
Yeah, I'm not sure how seriously you're supposed to take it
That is true.
because there's a very weird comedic tone to it. Like
That
for
is true as
example, the
well.
the mother's the
Oh,
mother
I love the mother.
when
The
there's
mother is the best.
when there's a discussion of buying clothes for I guess I'll refer to Migi and Dali as Hitori
All right.
when I'm talking about like the parents' point of view.
Yep.
There's a scene where like there's a discussion of Hitori's wardrobe and that
Yep.
his new parents want to buy him some clothes, and he says, "No, I'm good with just more, just more outfits that are identical to the one I'm wearing." And she says, "No,
You
you
do
are
such a.
not Steve Jobs." Um,
Yeah. She incredible, and even later on when they make the apple pie and she mess up and she said shit.
right. Yeah,
Oh no,
Japanese people love including English swear words and stuff for whatever reason.
I love to hear
And
that.
yeah, in like especially in older anime, you might hear a character say, "Oh my god,"
Yep.
which is always a treat because you can tell the voice actor is like, "Yes, I get to say it."
Yeah,
Um,
but but that really a sense of like something doesn't feel right. So it not only like in a sense of these two who Dali and Migi who want to like to do their best to just inflict in like just
infiltrate.
yeah just blend in with this family. But there's something like really weird going on for me. At least I have a very mixed feeling of the father and the mom as well.
Yeah, the it's something seems up. Something is definitely up.
Yep.
Um, but that could be because there's some piece of information about them that we don't know, or they are somehow tied to the murder that we
Yep.
see at the start of the episode.
Huh?
Um,
Really?
the murder. Well, we don't actually see the murder, but we see a corpse, somebody who's dead at the very start of the episode.
I don't even recall that at all. Oh wow.
The episode begins
Yep.
with I'm not sure if it's a man or a woman, but it's somebody with feminine features and long hair, and they're wearing a black dress.
Yep.
And they're dead on the ground with blood pooled around them. There's a Christmas tree with like artificial
Right.
lights on it.
Yep.
Uh,
Now I do
and then they
remember.
have, yeah, they've got the little snowflake talisman in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then the episode concludes with either Migi or Dali holding the same snowflake thing.
Huh. All right.
So
Very
it's
interesting.
it's possible that the person in that opening scene was one
The
of the
mom.
two of them who had grown out their hair or was wearing a wig, or it
Huh.
could be their mother,
Uh,
or who
yep.
it could be somebody unrelated to them, I suppose, but it's probably one of those two.
Yep.
And it's possible that given the parents' like very stilted behavior,
Mhm.
kind of robotic, that they adopted these two children like on purpose in order to watch them because there's some sort of threat
Mm.
to who they're a threat to. I don't know, like the government or something. Um, but yeah, it's. I mean, the fact that the show begins and ends with those scenes kind of sets the tone for the rest of it to be a little like off balance.
Yep. Yep.
But there's also
Uh,
the music, the fact that the music is so like creepy and the characters' facial expressions are so weird
yep.
and just everything about it is kind of sketchy and a little bit spooky,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which I think it's interesting. Like when I first watched this episode, I thought, well, this is probably going, near the bottom of my like list of 10. Probably getting a
but
pretty high score, quote unquote.
yep. Yep. Yep.
But the more the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this show actually has something going on.
Well,
It has
I
something
cannot
that
deny
other shows
that.
don't have.
Yeah, I cannot deny that. But well, I just uh, it's just ridiculous. And we didn't actually mention the fact that the mangaka, the authors, Nami Shano, who already passed away
Yeah.
because of the cancer period to um so I think this one have been finished, but uh yeah, they announced the adaptation before she aware that she having cancer.
Huh. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that about the timing.
Yeah. So yep,
Well,
that's how.
yeah, sad to lose her because she also wrote Sakamoto Deska,
Yep.
and I think that manga had a lot of fans even in America. So
Yeah. I watched some of the episode of that show.
I think I watched 3 or 4 episodes as well.
Yeah. Too ridiculous for me as well.
Yeah, well, there you go. I guess you knew what you were getting into with Migi and Dali.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, all right. So we might have a different opinion on that. So that's gonna be interesting. I put it at last. So 10 out of 10.
For me, it was 5.
Right. Oh, for a moment I thought you put it first.
Nah. I mean, I think you can probably guess what I put first.
Right. We get into that then. Uh, the next one is a short.
Yeah.
Ochibi-san.
Ochibi-san, yes. I think this is our first time doing a series this short
Yeah, yeah, that's
as part
true.
of a seasonal impressions episode.
That's really funny because it's just 5 minutes short, 5 minutes short, and it it had a lot of like short storylines to the point
Yep.
that like you actually feel a bit. I just have a feeling that if had the content equal to like a 20-minute episodes for some reason.
Well, it one of the themes of the work I think is weather and like the passing of seasons.
Yeah.
Even if you like look up the manga, which is written by Moyoko Ano, Hideaki Anno's wife.
Oh right, yeah.
If you look up the
She's
manga and you read it like even raw, you can see that there are chapters that are in winter and chapters that are in summer and etc.
yeah.
So a lot of these segments in this little first 5-minute episode are set at different times of the year,
Right.
and that kind of gives it a feeling of like completeness,
Yeah.
because you get the sense that time is passing. Although this Ochibi-san like occurring in its own like little universe means that time passing is strictly up to the author, just whatever they feel like doing. That's what time of the year it is.
Yeah. All right. So I understand now why this show is animated by Studio Hara.
Oh yeah, because of the Ano connection.
The other connection.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I mean, even before this version of the show, there was you remember the Japan Animator Expo.
Yep.
One of the episodes was an Ochibi-san segment
All right.
in the Animator Expo, so there was already I guess grounds for Kara to produce it, because most of the shorts in the short films, I guess I should say, in the Japan Animator Expo were by like Gainax or Kara or
Yeah.
like some associated production house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there already was like a little baby Ochibi-san anime out there, but now we're gonna get a short series. And as far as this first episode goes, I liked it. I assumed that it was gonna be like very pleasant and just kind of like fua kind of relaxing, and
Yep.
that's pretty much what we got.
Yep. I agree with you. So I have a great time. I think like the simple act design, and it really worked. But like it just I'm pretty sure that the kid will enjoy it, and like something that the adults can really relax, sit back, relax, and enjoy it as well. It's
Yeah,
very
I mean, you
light
have
in
the
terms of
older
story.
character.
Sorry.
There's the one older character who comes into the
Yep.
scene where
Yep.
they're
Yep.
they're chilling
I,
under the kotatsu with their feet under the heated blanket, and he
mm-hmm.
comes in and he's like, "Oh yes, there's a saying, 3 days of summer, 4 days of winter," or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, Imparting a little bit of knowledge. I think that a character like that really works in this series because when he comes into the room, adults can be like, "Ah, that's me. Um, I too am an adult." But he's also, he can be seen as kind of like a stern yet wise figure for any kids who are watching. He'll drop a little nugget of wisdom and they'll be like, "Whoa, that's crazy," and then they can
Yeah.
go back to watching Ochibi-san, holding onto a wisteria vine and doing a Tarzan yell as he swings through the jungle.
Yeah. Yeah. So yep, I have very little else to say about Ochibi-san, but
Well,
really
there's
enjoy the
not,
shot.
yeah, there's not much to say about it.
Yeah.
One thing I did like about it, in general, I thought the storyboarding was very good. There
Mm-hmm.
was there's one scene in particular that I really liked, where towards the end when they're gathering horsetails,
Yep.
in
Yep.
order
Yep.
to like stir fry them, I guess. Is that how
Mm-hmm.
they were being prepared?
Yeah. Stir fry, but just one of them who really like it. The rest of them just say it too bitter or something.
Right. Yeah. When they were gathering up horsetails at the end, um, Pan, who is the I guess brown haired dog,
Yep.
um, is like really excited to be gathering horsetail, and so is Ochibi-san. The two
Yep.
of them seem to have more energy,
Yep. Yeah.
and
Yeah. To
it's
pick it up.
Nazani, who's the brown haired dog, who's like a little bit more mature, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
or reserved, is like less enthusiastic, I guess, even though he's the one who likes
Come to
horsetail.
it. Yep.
But yeah, Ochibi-san and Pan are like running around trying to find these horsetail, and there's a shot where the camera's following them, but suddenly Pan gets like really excited and runs off camera. The
Uh-huh.
implication being that he's going to try to find some. He's going to like go ahead of Ochibi-san and try to find some. And then the camera stays in place and Ochibi-san comes closer to it, so you get that sense of depth, and finds some horsetail in the foreground, and
Mm-hmm.
then in reaction to this from off screen, seeing that Ochibi-san has found this horsetail, Pan runs back into frame and like jumps and lands on all four legs, right where this new patch of horsetail is. So it gives real like continuity to that scene. The fact that a
Mm-hmm.
character who like speeds up and leaves the frame of the camera comes back in reaction to seeing something that's in the foreground. I
Yep.
really enjoyed the way that scene was constructed.
Yep. Yep.
And I, of course, I like the color design. I love watercolor inspired stuff. Even if like quote unquote watercolor backgrounds that you see now are basic, like they're almost guaranteed to be digital.
Yep.
I still
Yep.
like that series are drawing an inspiration from there. So
Yep.
yeah, I just thought it was pretty charming.
Yep, yep, charming. Yep, and I remember the shot that you mentioned as well, and really impressive.
Yeah, it's towards the very end of the
Yep,
episode, which means it probably happened at like the 4 minute mark.
Yep.
Also,
Yep. Go on.
I just want to say one thing about the person who voices Shiropoi, who's like the little floating cloud
Yep.
who follows Ochibi-san around.
Hmm.
She is voiced by Misaki Kuno, who does the voice of Momo in Sangatsu. And you can tell she's giving like the exact same sort of performance. The voice that she's using is exactly the same. As soon as I heard her, I was like, that's Momo. So I enjoy that she's getting to play the same character essentially,
She
but
got
in a different universe.
typecast.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's neat to hear.
That's all. I just wanted to blurt that out.
Yeah, no worries. I put that 8 out of 10.
Okay, for me it was number 3.
Yeah. So far we got some show that are really different.
Yeah, as expected.
As expected. All right.
In a season like this where there's clearly, a best show or a couple best shows, what happens towards the bottom of the list is going to be like anybody's guess.
Yep. All right. The next one is Overtake.
Right.
So the one we just mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and that you just mentioned you had some issues with in terms of CG.
Yeah, that's right. Because the first time we go through the point of view of this guy. His name is Koya or Madoka. Yes.
Yeah, I have Koya in my notes. I did first names mostly.
Let's go with Koya. So I think he has a very interesting background. So he's like a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason he has some issue that he cannot take a picture anymore, or like any serious pictures anymore. And he then get assigned to go to this F4, so like the fourth division before they can get to F1. As like I myself playing tennis, go into the division, I really understand this.
Right.
And
so F4 is a real thing then?
I think so. I would say so. Yes.
I mean,
it's
it
for
makes
beginners
sense.
and for like someone who wanted to be. It looked like it. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But and because he have no idea about all this F4, so the first thing we see is like we see some of these the car racing around, and right the moment that we see the CG guy, it really took me out of the experience. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I mean, CG will do that, Personally, I didn't have that issue, but I'm not like really surprised to hear you say that, I guess, because anime CG just sucks. It's just, it's like it's the early 2000s over there. Well, then I guess you didn't enjoy the racing scene very much.
Well, when I get used to it, it get better, but yeah. So compared to the racing scene in that we see in MF Ghost, I would prefer the former than this one.
To be honest, I don't even know if I could say which I like better. Maybe my brain just tuned out the fact that it was CG. Maybe I like braced myself for it, and I was like, I know this is going to be hideous, but I'm just not going to think about it.
Right.
I don't know what's going on there.
Story wise though, I also really enjoy like the way the show construct these episodes. Like we go through the point of view of this guy who is who don't know anything about the car racing. So we get some explanation, some introduction to the cast, which we also need, and we see how he got invested to that. He got thrilled about that, and at the end, this is the one show that I missed the end credit, and I have to rewatch it.
You missed the end credits. What do you mean?
The post credit. Sorry, the post credit.
Oh, was there a post credit scene?
Yeah. Well, there is a.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's where he like. The cameraman's like, yeah, I'll be part of your crew or something like that.
No. He told the guy that he's gonna be a sponsor. He's gonna be their sponsor.
That's right. That's right.
And that actually something really interesting because I don't know if he like he got the money for it. He looked like he has no ambition in his job, so maybe he got you, don't know if he has the money for it anyway.
Well,
But
he does have a really nice apartment, like a riverside
yeah,
apartment.
yeah. So maybe
It has
some
a nice view. He's got to have
inheritance.
money.
Yeah, well, but yeah, well, the moment he says that, it's just very interesting because we're gonna see more of him and the cast in the future, and even like to the new rival Haruka, who's who has who clearly has talent according to the show, and but because he in the team where they don't have that much resource, so they lose.
Yeah, they're strapped
So
for cash.
yeah, that's right. But it's a question whether like Koyas, the guy now when he bring cash, is it just just like the money will can buy anything kind of story. So I'm kind of intrigued to find out as well.
Well, as long as he can buy some tires,
A new
um,
tire, yeah.
yeah, as long as he can buy some tires, Haruka will have a fighting chance, I suppose.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if the implication in his tire blowing out was like that was just bad luck or bad
No, 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 no,
preparation,
no.
or they just don't have enough money to put on new tires every single
Yep,
race.
yep. They especially said that because
Oh, they said it specifically. Okay.
yeah, they said that yeah, the new tie should they should change the new tie after the qualification route, but because they don't have the money, so that's why he had to use the spare one.
Right.
They yeah they not discuss that out loud, but I think the implication is that yeah they should have changed the new tie, but they don't have the resource to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all this talk of money and resources is all well and good, but I don't think that Koya is going to continue to be the central character. I think that's probably going to be Haruka
Hmm.
as he's the driver.
That's gonna be interesting. And yeah, so at first there are some silent moment between Koya and his college slash girlfriend
Uh,
slash boss. I don't really know because their relationship seem a bit weird to me.
well,
And
she
they
does make a remark about like her boss saying to her, you only give this guy jobs because you're still hung up on him, like romantically, I guess.
ha ha.
But I don't think that it's possible that they're former lovers, and the show just isn't letting on to it.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's any reason to like concretely say that they're together or they were together at any point.
Yep, 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 yep,
It's
yep,
possible. I
yep,
mean, I think that would be nice
yep,
if we got some adult romance,
yep, yep,
even if it was just like a side thing in this show. I think that'd be cool.
yep.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't. What I don't really understand is the nature of his work. Obviously, he is a
maybe
photographer,
or maybe he's
and
here a reporter.
no, he's a photographer.
All
I
right.
mean,
Well, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the episode, he's like, I took a picture.
Yep,
His job to take pictures, and he's so amazed that he managed to take one
yep,
after whatever PTSD he has um, from taking a photograph of a natural disaster instead of saving people.
yep,
It's something along those lines.
yep,
Because
yep,
when he's in his apartment, like after the mid episode break, when it comes back, there's a scene of him like scrolling through Twitter, and one of the tweets says, "What did it say?" I made a note of it here. I'm sure. Oh yeah, you totally could have saved them. Was
huh.
what one of the tweets said. So I think the
Um,
implication, given that he has those little flashes of like of memory of the ocean, is
yep,
that instead of entering like a disaster scenario and trying to save people who ended up dying, what he did was take photographs instead,
yeah. Be
and
a
he posted them online and got major backlash.
yeah, be a bystander, be a witness, and
Yeah.
not gonna help them. Yeah, well, I
Well,
think that
I don't
yeah,
know how fair that assessment is. Like maybe he did try to help them, or maybe it was impossible. Maybe there was no way he could have gotten there, and it was his job to take photos of this incident or something. You know, it's not as though he's like a terrible human being
yep.
necessarily. It could be that he was in the wrong, but we don't
Well,
know.
well,
In any case, he feels bad about it, and he has some like trauma
yeah.
surrounding that
But
incident.
in any cases, even when he take a picture of a guy who cry, like who crying his heart out because he lose a game, it also feel like an invasion of privacy here.
Right. Yeah, I really
So,
did not like that scene at all.
oh, yeah.
Specifically because Haruka crying was
Yeah.
animated on ones, and it didn't work for the scene. I don't think.
Is it like too many tears? Like, is that what you mean? Or
When I say it's animated on ones, I mean like for every second there were 24 individual frames,
yeah.
and I just thought that it didn't look right, man.
Mm-hmm.
Animating on ones is really really hard.
Yeah.
Not only because it's a lot of drawings, but because the drawings have to you know
It's
you've gotta be really dedicated to capturing lifelike movement if you're gonna try to
mhm.
imitate the rate of frames that
Yep.
film works at, which is 24 per second.
Yep.
Um, so
Yep. Yeah,
and I don't think they pulled it off. Like it's
yeah,
really hard to animate someone crying and
I
and do it in a way that tries to capture real life emotion.
yep, yep. I see what you mean because that scene looked a bit weird to me as well.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it's kind of
Um,
off, but yeah, well,
Yeah, it's hard though. I mean, if you're not going to animate it on ones, that means that you have to. There's going to be a little bit of jerkiness to it, and when somebody cries, their head shakes a little bit, so you have to animate the head moving and the neck supporting it in a very specific way. It's difficult to
mhm,
do.
mhm.
Um, so I think the show would have been much better off if he had turned his head away and it was clear that he was emotional, but you didn't see him in profile.
Mhm, mhm.
Because that didn't work, in my opinion.
Yep.
It is interesting that Koya took the photo of him in that circumstance because it kind of indicates, perhaps in tandem with the fact that he took these photos of this disaster that we don't know that much about,
Mhm.
that he is drawn to like photos of like negative,
Tragic.
perhaps
Yeah.
yeah, kind of like negative experiences or dangerous or emotional, or the he's interested in taking photos that have that explore some negative aspect of a situation. I guess that sounds really vague, but he doesn't
Mhm.
want to just take landscape shots, or just shots that are very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that leaves some room to explore his character in the future.
Yep. Very interesting. So yeah, between the two, so this one and of course, I gonna try to watch them more as well because I surprisingly I enjoyed both of the stories and want to see more of them. So
Yeah, I
for this
I would
one,
more or less I would more or less agree.
yeah, for this one I rank it fifth out of 10.
Okay, for me, number 4.
Yeah. Hmm. All right. Here now to, we go to some of the biggies of the season,
Some of the biggies.
and
Okay.
and we will see like how our opinion different from one another. So the first one gonna be Frieren Beyond
Okay.
Journey's End.
So Sousou no Frieren,
Yeah.
I guess, for alphabetical purposes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one, as before we started recording, I mentioned to Mario that I watched this one super late last night, and then I woke up early in the morning to
Yep.
record this podcast. So this is still, I mean, I want to say that it's
Fresh in
fresh in
your
my memory,
memory.
but
Yep.
maybe I didn't like form the strongest memory of it when I watched it like past midnight last night.
Yeah, and this is the show that airs super early as well. So it's I believe it's air like at the end of September. So whereas like the last season also just end or like on its way to end. This one and not the first episode, but 4 episodes out of that. So like a
Right.
2 hours thingies.
Yeah, essentially a movie like Oshinoko and
Yep.
Ooku.
And for the purpose of our first impression, this is just the only first episode that we're gonna try and watch.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable decision. Like I was
Yep.
knowing that all the first 4 episodes were supposed to go together, I was kind of worried about watching just one,
Yep.
like that it wouldn't find a good place to conclude or that it wouldn't stand on its own. But I
Yep.
think it does more or less.
Yeah. I actually think that if they stop at the first episode, it still make a lot of sense because this is I say first that the setting is not exactly exciting to me. It take like in a live fantasy where we see like all these characters before the hero, the priest, the dwarf, the
The elf.
what you see the elf,
Yeah.
and it take place where they just like they just kill the demon king. So like like all the story that we have seen before, but this one is yeah, more interesting because of the fact that it takes place afterwards. So like what happened when the story ends, and this is like this kind of story.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, hence Beyond Journey's End. And I
yeah.
think that might have been the title of the first episode as well.
Yep. I think you are right. And
Yeah, so it's definitely different, you know. It's traditional fantasy first of all. Nobody's been reincarnated or any such nonsense.
mhm.
And it's
uh,
very kind of Lord of the Rings inspired, I feel.
yep.
The
And
music definitely is.
well, yeah, true. I really like the main concept. So the concept here is that the elf of Frieren, she age much different than the others. And
Yep.
so that, like 50 years for human is just like a mere passage of time for her, a mere 20
Like a
seconds
blink
for
of an
her.
eye. Yeah.
Yeah. So that she doesn't really feel the way that other feel like she just like at the beginning of her stage. I don't know if she immortal or I don't know if she just live a long age, but when others of her band starting to like to resemble to look old, to resemble the past and to pass away, she just realized herself that like she need to spend more time or like enjoy her time with other more. So I
Right.
think that's a really nice message out there as well.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
I when she gets really emotional at Himel's funeral,
yep,
um, I wasn't sure whether it was the right call for her to have that really like tearful moment. I thought
yep.
it might be to the show's benefit in order to play it even slower than that,
Mhm.
and for the emotion of that scene to catch up with her later.
Yep, I agree
Um,
with you on that.
but I don't want to like nitpick too hard. I feel like it was good. The scene was fine. I just would,
Yeah,
the fact that the show is kind of slow paced,
yep.
makes me like have higher expectations for it, and I want it to go even slower.
Oh wow, and sleep in the music.
Like, what do you mean? Fall asleep to the music?
Yeah, for sleep to the music. The music was so nice, but very calm as well at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine that whoever composed it, just
Uh,
has grown up listening to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack
yeah,
and other similar works.
you don't know who composed this. This from
It was
a
Evan Call.
yep,
It was the guy's name.
that's he. Yep. Um, yeah, I actually everything that come with Himel come to his funeral is like my least favorite part of this episode. Like the fact that you just mentioned that Frieren, she cries, she bursts out at one of the time, but
I wouldn't say
even
that she bursts out.
she cries, right?
Yeah, well, she cries, but bursting out into tears is like, wah,
All right. Sorry,
you know.
She cried at the scene. But before that, in the funeral, we also hear like some of these strangers to talk about, you know that girl who used to be in a Hime group, and she doesn't cry. So how cold she
Right.
is. I just
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
I I don't either. But I'll tell you, there are so many scenes like that in anime.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Yeah.
know, where side characters, or not even side characters, just
Names.
mob characters, I guess, yeah, will loudly express their disapproval of somebody,
Yep.
like not to their face, but to a friend of theirs.
Yep.
And I think the point is that obviously the point is that the other person will overhear.
Yep.
I'm starting to think that this may be like a thing in Japanese society, is that you may not be allowed to convince what's the word I'm looking for?
Talk to their face.
You may not be able to criticize them to their
Yep.
face, but what you do instead is you, like, loudly enough that they will overhear, you make some remark about them to a friend of yours or to somebody who's
Yep.
nearby. Because
All right.
that
I
must be a Japanese thing, right? Because I've seen it in at least 150 anime at this
All
point.
right, I can relate to that. I think Asian culture have that as well. But this
Oh,
is
okay.
set. It is set place in a fantasy world. It have nothing to do with Japan.
Right.
So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that scene like kind of loses out because
yeah,
of that moment.
yeah,
Um, but it's like being, I don't know, being American. Those scenes have always
yeah.
felt
Bothered.
really really weird to me. Like
Yeah,
in where I'm from,
yeah,
if you either keep it to yourself, or if you have a big enough problem with somebody, you just tell them.
yeah,
You say it to their face.
yeah,
I guess that sort of thing may not be permitted in perhaps Eastern cultures.
yeah.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
not
but
for
it doesn't really belong in this show, and it
yeah.
kind of sucks.
Yeah, but not only Hime, but I really like Helter, the priest, and Eason is supporting as well. So we get to see more of Helter, the priest, and see he he older than Hime, but he still survive. At least at the
Right.
time we when at the end of uh the first episodes, and he
The
also
alcohol kept him alive.
yeah, I believe so. And but he also tell Frieren that he now afraid of that.
Yeah. Well, I
And
think the reason for that is because he has this, like, I don't know what she is exactly, adopted daughter, or
yep, yep, yep.
he just has this. I guess she's kind of his adopted daughter.
Oh well, I think he mentioned the fact that her mother died because of the war or something. So
Yeah.
he adopted the girl.
Right. I think that's the reason why he's afraid to die, to
Yep.
leave her alone.
Wow. Huh.
Which that to me, that was one of the best parts of the episode, was the last like 33% of it, I guess,
Yep.
after she goes and finds Hater, or however you say his name,
Yep.
um, in his old age, and meets Fern. Um, and he makes that request of her, which she says, that's the one thing I can't do.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
Yep.
it's very very interesting to me that he has found this girl who will obviously, she's the show is framing her as an eventual main character, I feel.
Yep. And
So
she overpowered for her age as well.
right, yeah. Yeah, well, Frieren thinks to herself, like, she has excellent mana control for her age. I can hardly sense her presence.
Yeah.
So she's intrigued. Even if you don't see a lot of emotion on her face generally, you
Mhm.
can tell that she's, like, very interested in how a human being this young could be this powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
which,
yeah.
in addition to that being a point of interest, like in terms of the series, perhaps its universe or its magic system or whatever,
Mhm.
it also, the fact that Frieren is taking an interest in humans at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
is
True.
important. Like that's a difference between how perhaps she once operated and the way she is now after experiencing the death of a close companion,
Yeah. Yeah.
and being confronted with like the soon to be death of another.
Yeah. 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 And I think they cap off the episodes by booking the 50 years promise, the to what, the shooting star something. Remember that.
I remember
So
the shooting star scene where yeah,
yeah.
where
So
when all the characters are older,
yeah.
obviously except for Frieren, they go and see the shooting stars, and I really like the
Yeah.
end of that little scene with one of the comets kind of like burning up as it enters Earth's atmosphere. That being a transition to the funeral
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
Himo's life has similarly like burned out.
Yeah. So yep, I really enjoyed these episodes, and this is one of the show that I definitely want to check out more. There's like 4 5 other episodes coming out already, and I think the general impression of those who watch the 4 episode is that you can just pretty much watch the first episode and understand that the next week gonna be kind of the same, which I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to this. It's directed by Keiichiro Saito,
Yep.
of who did the
Bocce the
episode
Rock.
of Sunny Boy, Bocce the Rock.
Yep.
He's
It's
uh,
bad.
he's an
Ye-
apprentice of like one of my favorite anime directors ever. Um, so
Yeah.
the background artist, the art direction's so good, man.
Yeah. Well, there's one scene that I actually didn't really like.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
What's that?
yes, that's the scene where so they just go back to the cities, and they was applauded by like by the people there when they get into the kingdom, and
Like
we
there's a
can
parade for them.
yeah, there was a parade, and we can really see that the people when they go in the parade, the people on the side kind of play out and kind of look like, for me they just look like a faceless. They really look faceless CG computer background. That's what it
Yeah.
felt to me, and
Well, I
I
wouldn't say
don't
that.
really like
I
that.
wouldn't call that art direction. I would say that's you know, a directorial choice.
Yeah, yeah,
Like art direction would
but
be more about the backgrounds, but yeah, I don't know exactly what scene you're talking about. Like I can't picture it in my head, like that particular shot, but
mhm,
I have no doubt that there was some CG involvement
yeah.
for those crowd scenes during the parade. Yeah,
Yeah, but other
I've
than that,
just come to
I
expect that.
really enjoy the background and the exercise in
Oh my
general.
god, the
The
backgrounds are so
music,
good, dude.
the music as well.
Yeah, all of it comes together for like a really nice
Yeah.
fantasy atmosphere. You don't
So
get a lot of that in anime.
yeah, so
There are
kind of
tons of fantasy
weird.
series, of course, but
Yeah,
not a lot like this.
yeah. So kind of weird for me to see. Kind of weird for me to say that. Like my top choice is a fantasy show, because I'm not really a huge fan of fantasy. For anime medium at least. But yeah, it's stay number one for me. How about
Yeah,
you?
same here.
All right.
Yep.
I'm
I mean, I think
glad.
it's obviously the best episode of
Well,
all these.
I was afraid that you didn't like the sentimental of the show, and you put that like 9 or 10,
Are you kidding
because
me?
because I thought maybe one of the other show that we're gonna talk about is your favorite. So
Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess we'll
we
get
find
there
out.
eventually. I don't even
Yeah.
know. I'm like, think, I've already revealed my second and third favorites, right? MF Ghost and Ochibi-san,
Yep.
and Overtake is 4, and Migi to Dali is 5th.
All right.
So most of what we're going to talk about for the remainder of the episode is going to be stuff that I thought was bad.
Oh wow. All right, let's go with that. The first one is Spy and Family season 2.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
more of the same, don't you think?
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Uh,
it's so much more of the same that the show is too afraid to even, begin like a new
Commit.
arc. because we just have to get an episode about you know
are.
you're getting shot in the butt and you know being reluctant to sit down because it would be painful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing that I really like the show to start is that I want more of spy action than the family part, and this first episode is much more about the family part. So
I mean, yeah, I guess so. If the dichotomy or the if it's spy versus family and every episode is one of those two, then I suppose this would be family. Although Anya gets her own little spy mission, I
yep,
guess,
yep, yep,
when she infiltrates the restaurant in
yep,
completely like ridiculous and scarcely believable fashion. Like she
yep.
outwits
She make the
a grown
bomb.
adult.
All right, so hold on.
Right.
So she make the
Yes.
bomb by herself in how many minutes? In 2 minutes.
Is that right?
Because yeah,
I would
because
say
the time.
seconds.
Yeah, well, because the time. Yeah, well, the time that the guy get there from wherever he was to the room, she already make the bomb
Yeah.
out
It
of that
made
place.
absolutely it made no sense at all that she could make it at all and that she could do it so quickly and that
Yeah.
she'd be able to I mean I've already blocked out parts of that scene from my memory or just forgotten it, I guess, because
Uh,
it did nothing for me.
well, I'm still a fan of the show, so I still really enjoy it. But I can understand why like you would feel that it's more the same.
I mean it is, right?
It is.
It's
I
not
don't
really a
deny that.
feeling. It's
Yeah,
just it just is more of the same.
yeah. I don't deny
Um
that.
yeah, I mean Spy and Family it's a mega hit.
Yeah,
So more of the same. It makes like if I'm the one who is producing this season, I'm probably going to be like, all right, Mr. Writer, who I've hired, we're obviously adapting this series from a really popular manga. That means the source material is limited. We got to stretch things out a little bit. We got to pad it. Why don't you start off with an anime original first episode? And I don't know whether that is the case here. Like I don't know. This episode certainly feels anime original.
uh,
They just imagine they just took the singular idea of what if girl gets shot in butt
yeah.
and made an entire episode out of it.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
that
That
that feels pretty anime original to me. But
yeah.
regardless of whether it was in the source material or not, like this feels like the sort of note you want to start off on if you're trying to milk your mega hit for as long as possible.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. It's the anime original. I will check on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it was or not. I'm not trying to slander anybody, or
Yep.
I don't know what I'm not trying to do, but it just like I said up top, it doesn't kick off a new arc or anything. It's not the
Ye-
spy half of the show as you said.
yep.
So it's just really, I mean, the only note that I wrote down for this episode was, "Did you know that if you get shot in the butt, it hurts to sit down?" That's really
Yeah.
the only. Yeah, true. I mean, I do now. I know that now.
uh, it's all right. There's gonna be a movie coming out as well, and I'm not really sure that it the movie itself is original anime original, or is that gonna be like adapt some of the arc?
I have no idea.
All
I know
right,
the
I'm
movie
gonna
is
have a look
called
at that.
Code White. That's all I know.
Yep, yep,
So if there's a Code White arc in the manga, then I guess it's from the manga, and if not, then I guess it's not.
yep.
Yeah, but
I have a look.
the movie, apparently the staff of the movie is very similar to the staff from season one.
Yep,
Like a lot of the key staff members between Wit and Cloverworks are working on the film, and
yep,
it's new staff that are working on season two. It's
yep.
like not all the same people. It's some of the same people from the first production, and then others from elsewhere. But the show it looks more or less the same. I didn't
Yep.
detect any like glaring issues watching this return, this comeback.
Yep, me too. So yep, this is like a food of comfort for me. So I put it 3 out of 10.
Well, we're already getting the rating, huh? Do you know who storyboarded the OP?
Oh yeah. We need to talk about that. USR. That's
Yeah.
kind of surprised me as well. But yeah, the OP is just a very fun to watch. The
Yeah.
name USR didn't really cross my mind watching that OP, but it's something that I'm impressed about. So
Well, it's
I
for
wasn't that
me like
surprised, you know.
I mostly just enjoy knowing that he did it. You
Uh,
know, that he's still active out there somewhere, and you know he's capable of showing up every once in a while, like dropping a new OP or something, doing a little bit of episode direction.
mhm, mhm.
He's still like lurking in the shadows. You know, he didn't abandon anime altogether. That's the main point of interest for me. I thought the OP was fine, but you could tell like it was very cleaned up.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Mhm.
we're not talking about like Kemonozume levels of like looseness in terms of animation. But his some of his influences there, I
Yeah.
feel. Like there's one particular cut where the background is all white and there's a whole bunch of little circles on the screen. I can't remember what exactly they were, what they were meant to represent. But there's a scene where there's a white background and there's a bunch of little circles or spheres on the screen, and Anya is kind of in the middle of it, and she's like you see her head is very prominent, and you see all of her limbs kind of spazzing out and pushing all the little circles away. I wish I had a clearer mental picture of what exactly they were, like what was being represented. All I remember really is the arrangement of the shot and the shapes, I guess.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, that looks like Yuasa, and
Hmm.
it ended up that
I
he directed the OP, and I was like, wow, that's
yeah.
crazy. But
When
the animation was very clean,
yeah when
so he
but when I
obviously wasn't the
saw
one who it wasn't his pen on the paper.
yeah what when I saw like the way that they walk, like with the feet, like with the really way of proportion between their body and their feet.
Yeah,
I
the big
also
feet. Yeah.
I also think of like this is some look like USA, look like the Tatami Galaxy thing.
Yep.
So yeah, yep, nice surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole episode, the fact that he had a hand in the OP is the most interesting thing about it to
Yep,
me.
yep.
So like, what is there to say about the episode itself other than
So
like Yor
more of
gets
the
shot
same.
in the butt and Anya makes a bomb? I don't.
All right, let's see.
Is there anything?
They go for a date.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
The
just
handling
how.
of the date is just very like anime logic.
Yeah,
You know. Oh yes, I should go on what they call a dato, so I can learn about what women do on dates with men, so I can drop it in conversation with my coworkers. I don't. You know what would be great is if there were some like real romance between the two of them, but that would be
there will
kind of
be.
in violation of the spirit of the series, which I think is to maintain the status quo of that family for as long as possible.
Yep, yep, yep. So yep, nope.
But that would
That's
be
not a
cool.
no.
Like if there was a romance between the two of them because they're both so good looking,
Yeah, I think
and
there
then we
will
get
be. Like
some adult
eventually,
romance, man.
they will grow into each other.
Eh, man, I I highly doubt it.
Yeah, but you had enough of Spy Family.
Have I had enough? I guess so because I
All
put
right,
this eighth.
all right, hmm. All right. How about the next one then? Undead Unluck.
Hmm.
Come from Shonen Jump, I think. It's
Yeah.
a adaptation of Shonen Jump.
Yep. Yeah, and you can definitely tell who directed this because it's basically Fire Force 2.0.
Yep.
So it's Yuki Yase for sure. This show is unbelievably similar to Fire Force. Not only in terms of its like visual presentation, but the fact that the main character propels himself by shooting stuff out of his feet.
Yep.
It's blood instead of fire.
And even like the humor as well, the lame humor,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
the action
And the
part.
fact that there's a girl who gets grouped
Yeah, well,
like accidentally, or in Fire Force it's an accident because she is like has bad luck.
yeah,
And in this show, the
she had
female
bad luck.
character
She's the
has
one who
bad
bring bad
luck.
luck. Yeah, well.
Yeah. The fact that she gets groped by the main character is kind of divorced from the fact that she has bad luck.
Yeah.
Rather, it's the thing that brings on the I don't know, his beheading or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I can give for this show is that yeah, it's well animated. Like the fact that he reincarnate or he just grow his body back doesn't look that cross. It look quite well animated.
Yeah, I thought it was real smart the way that they handled it. It wasn't too gory. It wasn't too detail heavy. It wouldn't be too like time or resource consuming. But
Yep.
they still made it. They made it work.
Yep,
Like
yep, yep.
just animating it basically from left to right. Like you see the bone, the muscle comes over it, the flesh comes over it, and it's not, you don't see like individual tendons of muscle, but you still that it's detailed enough that you get the picture, and it feels like kind of like a little bit unsettling, a little bit amazing.
Yep.
It worked.
Yep. As for the story itself, so we got this girl who, oh my god, she did the manga that she loved, her favorite manga, before she decided to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, what did you
And
think about the decision to like animate the events of the manga as though it were the beginning of the show?
yeah, I think it's kind of weird. I think it's kind of funny as well. Normally I would say yes to this, but yeah, well, now that I think about that, I actually kind of enjoy the beginning more than what come afterwards, like the rest of the episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel that the premise itself is pretty dumb. That girls, and then there's a guy who just bugged her, and when he found out about her special skill, which is like incredibly bad luck, and I don't even know how that work. Like somebody touch her, and just the meteor come crashing down to them, thunderstorm, uh,
Yeah.
anything. I don't know. I cannot even tell.
Meteorite.
Yeah, and well, and there's a bunch of other guys who come to want to take them as well, and I lost my interest very quickly.
Hmm. Yeah. I more or less agree. I've been saying more or less a lot
Yeah,
this episode. I just realized I basically agree.
yeah,
I was intrigued by the opening of the show. I was like, wow, this is kind of like quiet and reserved for a show, the beginning of a Shonen Jump adaptation. Then it turned
yeah,
out to be the manga that she was reading. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Uh, the introduction, the fact that she brings on bad luck. I don't really have an issue with that being the show's premise, because it's they exist in a ridiculous world that is built to showcase people's powers, like their supernatural abilities. So the fact that there's an underlying like karmic balance
yep,
to the show's world is fine. Like, the fact that she touching her or being kissed by her brings about bad luck. I'm like, okay, I can roll with that.
yep,
But two of the things that really disappointed me about this episode were one, the main. Well, I don't know who's the main character. I guess they both are. They're like
yeah.
a
They
pair
both are.
now.
Yep,
So Andy, the male lead, I suppose.
yep,
The fact that he was a hairdresser was really interesting to me, and the fact that like he is in a unique position to be able to give her a haircut, and even if like his head gets cut off, it's all good because
Yeah.
he'll just grow his body back. So the fact that he was a hairdresser is just kind of dropped into the conversation and not revisited at all. I would have liked the haircut scene to be more of like an emotional center
Yeah.
for the
Yeah. Yeah.
episode.
I would love that
Um,
to like it's some kind of they share the intimation with each other, but
if they what?
they share the intimate moments to each other.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like connect a little bit more during that scene. Share
Yeah.
a few more details about their
Yep.
lives.
Yep.
But
Yep.
the problem is Andy is not that sort of character.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like he's unhinged basically, which I
Yep.
think comes from the fact that he typically keeps a shard of like glass or something embedded in his brain
Yep.
to restrict his access to his memories,
Yep.
which is
I don't
that's
even
just a
get it.
very Shonen Jump thing. Like you take
Yeah.
out the like bullet in your head, and suddenly you're 10 times as strong.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Uh, so that's I mean I'm fine with that sort of stuff, because it's part of what these like superpowered manga for boys are all about.
Yep.
But I just the hairdresser thing in particular, like you're gonna drop that in there and then not do anything else with it, like not use that as an opportunity to make your characters connect a little more. I was like, man, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Also, the antagonist, like the guy
Mm-hmm.
who was chasing them, I don't even know if his name was given. He was just followed by a bunch of identical looking henchmen, as though we were watching like a tokusatsu series.
Yep.
And then they all get wiped out by the meteor. They're, we didn't get a
I
glimpse at like a villain who matters, even though they introduced a villain.
I don't think that he died yet
Yeah, it's
because
possible that he lived, but it would have been great if he did to see like a scene at the end of his hand like coming up out of the rubble, like, oh,
Mhm.
he's still alive.
Yep. But yeah, I found that incredibly stupid. The fact that he tried to take hostage to Foucault, saying that I'm gonna do the dirty thing now, and then he asked Andy to cut his head, give the head to him. Andy agrees, and then to the incredibly stupid thing where like somehow Foucault just get out of his hand, go to kiss Andy head, and he
Right.
was like, what the hell are you doing? Like if he so skilled, he could just kill her in one strike.
How did she get away from him?
Yep.
Was there
uh
any trickery to it, or did she just like wriggle out of his grasp and
yeah,
that was it?
yes, she just moved her head or something, and then I don't even know, like it's
Yeah.
something very stupid.
Okay. I can't remember how she got away, but there's
Yeah.
a lot about this episode and a lot about all of these episodes that I don't remember. Um, I honestly, I didn't really have an issue with her escaping. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but
Yeah.
you knew that moment was coming because the show had already established that
That's a
her
level of
kissing
logic
some
that oh right.
the
I
well
thought you were
just
gonna
the
say that that's a level of logic we're gonna deal with
well
for
it
for a show to
is.
show.
I mean that is true in
Yep.
general, but you knew that you needed to kiss him because
Yep.
the show had already established that, like
Yep.
just from showing us those individual cuts of her kissing her dad and her mom,
Yep.
um, that was going to have to happen. She was going to have to make that happen. So
Yeah.
at that point I was like waiting for it to happen. So her escaping the villain's grasp, I was like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, not that it really makes sense, but
Yep.
you know.
And I don't even understand why like she still decided to stick with Andy, because uh at least
Because
he
he's a hairdresser.
honest. Yeah, well,
He can keep giving her haircuts. Nobody else can.
and then later on this guy just suggest that maybe we should boop, censor,
Oh, right.
and then she run away
Yeah.
from him. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's the
That's
joke.
silly.
Well, Well,
Yep.
so it's very well animated. If you enjoy Fire Force, I think you will enjoy this show. I think it will get better as well. I normally think that this kind of story is silly at first, but if you grow with it, you're gonna have good time later on. Maybe
Yeah,
some
you got
Shakuga's episodes.
well
Uh,
that could be, but also when it comes to these sorts of shows, the point is to showcase a bunch of superpowers and a bunch of like varied character designs and stuff.
mhm.
Um, and that's, I mean, that would, if you were going to continue to watch it, hypothetically, I would say that would be the reason to do it. Because you got to,
Yeah,
obviously, it's not just going to be the two of them journeying around the world. This is not a girl's last tour type of situation. There's going to be more people, so you got to stick around until the new characters are introduced.
yeah.
Yeah, so I might continue with this one a little bit because
Wow.
I do like the visual presentation. Like I liked Fire
Yep,
Force.
yep, yep,
Eventually, it got to be like I got to be bored of it, but
yep.
I like the wide shots. I like the decision to like put some to darken the color design for some characters based on like where they exist in the frame, like relative
Mhm.
to the camera. I like the foregrounding of objects to kind of obscure the frame sometimes when characters are speaking a little more quietly. There's just a lot of like little visual tricks that were present in Fire Force that I really enjoyed. They're here as well.
Mhm.
Background art not quite as strong, but animation's still good.
Yep,
It is very dumb, so I don't imagine I'll watch the whole thing, but I'll probably
yep.
give it another episode or two.
Okay, I put it 9 out of 10.
For me, it's number 6.
Wow. All right. So
Every time we have a difference of opinion, you say "Wow."
all right. So that's gonna be interesting for the next one. Let's see how the next one fare because
Okay.
I know your ranking for for these last two shows now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see that Under Ninja is what
Right.
come next.
Yeah. So when I said that Migi and Dali might not even be the weirdest show,
Yeah, this one take the
uh,
cake.
this is I think the weirdest. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what I'm supposed to make of this at all. I don't get it.
Well, yeah. I actually feel this is kind of remind me of Heavenly Delusion for some reason. I think maybe because of how weird it is, how strange the whole thing is, and we just got into like in the middle of something, like this guy just meet a bunch of other ninja in a school uniform, and they have to fight off. I think a new agency or something, and then like a beach boy we go back on time to see how he's come to accept the job and his life situation as a whole. I kind of like the idea, to be honest.
His life situation as a whole. What is his life situation?
So he got no job. He a ninja. He got no job. He getting bored at his house, and we see like his neighbors. One of the neighbor who he always steal the beer, and one of the other neighbors who's they he can talk and all that.
Huh.
So
All right.
yeah, yeah. So
I
so
mean, I
the
was hoping that you would explain this show to me because I don't understand it at all.
well, I explained the event that happened in the first episode. I still have no idea what this show is about. So
Yeah, me neither. I mean, were there any events that took place in the first episode? The most climactic event would be him like crawling into a woman's bathroom to get toilet paper for her,
yep, yep, yep,
right?
yep. That's right. Yep,
Apart from that, it's mostly him just lazing around
that's right as
or
well.
him discussing, like how they're gonna battle the Gyaru, like the Ganguro ninja who are on top of the building across the street,
Yep.
but they don't actually. They just talk about it basically in
Ye-
very weird and vague terms. Like there
Yep.
doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency from anybody involved on either part of the time divide.
Yep.
Um, So I'm not sure what the
and
stakes are. I'm
all
not
right,
sure
and
why any of this
even
matters.
and we haven't even talked about the first the first minute where we have like American soldier things.
Oh yeah, with the CG soldiers.
Yeah. And then we see
And
like
dude, the
the
facial hair on one of them was just. I thought I've. Man,
that was the worst. That I agree. Like I the first minute or so looks so bad, and even like it's really out of context. But what come later on is I still very intrigued by Under Ninja.
all right. Well,
Just
I
to
gotta
find
say
out what this
you
show
are
is about.
completely alone in that. You know, not like out of everyone who's watched it, of course. Just between the two of us, you're out there on your own, man. I'm not wading into this ocean with you.
uh, Too bad. Maybe you miss out. Maybe try the second episode and maybe it's more clear. I actually gonna watch the second episode and I'm gonna tell you if uh like any of your concern is addressed.
Concern, man. I'm not concerned at all. I'm completely disinterested. I have no
Okay.
concerns, man.
Okay.
I mean, what what is the deal with the show? Why does it matter if they beat these Ganguro ninja girls
Yeah, that's
in the
something we need to
present
find
day?
out because we have no idea what we don't even have any idea what the job that he take. Like when the guy come to him pretending to be a
Like a delivery boy or whatever.
delivery man, um that he assigned him a job, and it's under his ninja skill to actually find out what the job is about, and that's I think that's the thing. So the whole thing is just a setup, and we don't know about the end game yet. So I understand why it make you completely like out of touch of the show. But
Well,
for me
I
at the
mean,
same time, I just
sorry, go ahead. Finish
yeah,
your
I
yeah.
just want to find out what the whole deal is.
I mean, yeah. And I mean that's the first episode's job is to intrigue you and make you want to watch more. So obviously it was successful in your case, but I want to like I am not averse to a first episode just being set up and not
Yeah,
featuring a lot of action. For example, MF Ghost was
yeah.
mostly set up,
Mhm.
but MF Ghost is clear about where it will like who the characters are and where it will be going in the future. This
Mhm.
show is as clear as dirt. Um, there is no sense of clarity to it whatsoever. You
Uh-huh.
know that the characters are ninja in a sense, um, and that's all you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's going to be some sort of weird comedy thing,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
perhaps
yeah,
kind of a parody of Ninja series or a parody of what Americans think ninja are
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
But apart from that, you've got, I mean, this show, you know what this show has potential to do is pull a samurai flamenco and just go completely insane midway through
Hmm.
because it's kind of formless as it exists right now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
Huh. I need to watch Samurai Flamingo sometimes.
Yeah, you have to at least like for Samurai Flamenco, you have to watch. I can't remember how many episodes it is, like 6 or 7, before
Yeah.
there's a really crazy event that happens that sets the show on a completely different course.
Huh.
Uh, it is like as far as anime goes, I would say it is the show when talking about insane plot twists. It's like the number one insane plot twist.
Huh. Wow. That. Wow.
Not just insane in terms of wow, I can't believe that happened, but
Yeah.
wow, I can't believe like anyone would ever conceive of this and write this. Like I can't believe this is even possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. I'm intrigued. All
Yeah,
right.
it's something.
Yeah. Talk about the ninja though. I we actually get a really weird scene as well where there's like a foreigners who like arrested by uh arrested as ninja and who looking for ninja. It might or might not related to these main guys who they say was I think some of the other ninja mentioned that he killed a foreigner. He's the one who or he's the one who beat the foreigner.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Although I, the show would, when it flashed back and forth between its two time periods, like the month on the screen would kind of flash back.
Yep.
So I think the present day is November, if I'm not mistaken, and the flashbacks were in June, something like that.
Huh.
Do you
I
remember
was
if that was?
thinking, yeah, I was thinking it's more like November and maybe just a few weeks before, so like October.
Oh no,
That's
no, definitely not. It flashes
all
back
right.
like multiple months. It's not just like days on a calendar that it flashes back. You actually see the abbreviations for the month change.
Yep, yep. All right, all right.
But I didn't get the sense watching like that foreigner, the scene where he comes to Japan, and I don't know who exactly he's talking to or what like agency or office he's in.
I think it's more like just some public uh servants who uh maybe like information center.
Yeah, something like that, because he's trying to get information about where he can. It's almost like a concierge. Like,
Yep,
where can I find
yep,
so and so?
yep,
Where
yep,
can I
yep, yep.
find Ninja? I didn't get the sense in those scenes that they were taking place before what we had seen of the main character lounging around his apartment. At which point he already has the reputation, I think, of being somebody who beat up the foreigner. Like even in the those scenes,
Huh.
he was the guy who beat up the foreigner, right? Not just in the present day.
Yeah, maybe because I just remember they mentioned that mentioned about he beat up the foreigner when there was a ninja team together. So that must have been
Okay, so they only made
uh,
reference of that in the November scenes on the
yeah,
rooftop and stuff.
yeah. That's what I remember.
Okay, yeah, then it's definitely going to be this blonde guy who he ends
Hmm.
up defeating or beating up or something.
Yep. Well, still very
Well, I
interesting
mean,
to me.
man, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I just can't find any point of intrigue or interest in the show. It's just too like kind of aimless and understated. But that might be the point. I mean, the fact that it opens with this, the American military force being like, "Whoa, man, ninja are so crazy, like they can slice off a guy's head, dude."
Yep.
And then there's also in the in the flashback scenes, there's the foreigner who's like, "Yes, I would like to find a ninja this and challenge them to battle." The ridiculous accents and the general fascination with ninja that these Americanized or Western characters have. I think maybe the idea is that this is going to be like an anti-ninja manga,
Hmm.
like directly playing on people's assumptions or ideas of what ninja are, and kind of
Hmm.
being like an anti-comedy.
Hmm.
I think that's the show's angle, but
Yeah. Well.
I'm not sticking around to find out.
Yeah. I will stick around to find out, and I will tell you if you're interested.
You don't need to tell me. I'm good.
Yep. Yep. I reckon this is the show where we different the most. So I
Probably.
put that second out 10.
For me, it was number 9.
Oh, there will be one worse show than this one.
Yeah, I would say so. Because
That
at
will
least while watching Under
convince.
Ninja, I need to stay awake to pay attention and try to figure out what the hell the show is.
Yep. Let's go with
I
that.
can't say the same for the last show.
All right. Yuzuki-san Chi no Yonkyoudai.
Yeah. What does it translate to? Like the
The
Yuzuki family's
four
four
sons.
siblings?
Yep.
Four sons, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just the first question is What subtitle you watch this one with?
Anonymous.
Anonymous. Yeah. Is
Or
that like
wait,
fan sub?
yeah, it's fan subbed. There was the whole sub drama, like, oh, Crunchyroll used machine translation or something.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I heard about it. You alerted me to it. I'd also seen something about it online previously. It got to be like a huge shitstorm. Actually,
Yeah.
it was getting covered by like major anime websites and whatever. I just
It.
like, to me, it doesn't even matter because I'm so used to pirating shit and like watching fan subbed shows that I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just let me log on to a certain website and download a certain file and I'm good.
Yep.
Fixed
Yep.
in
Yep.
30 seconds.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much confirmed, but not officially that they have been fan sub. Sorry, they have been Google translated or
Yeah.
machine translated. And Crunchyroll they just doesn't really aware of that and just put the whole thing in. So
I mean, I
I
can't
feel really
blame
bad.
them.
I feel really bad for them. I feel really bad
Whoever,
for who everyone involved in this.
well, I can't say that, like, the fact that I don't feel anything about it.
Yeah,
It's, to
right.
me, it's the thing that I feel most about it is just amusement that so many people care so much. Like, just go
Yeah,
online and download it and don't,
yeah.
man, whatever.
All right.
Oh
So
no, my
this is the
subtitles for one of the worst shows of the season weren't perfect. Wah.
all right. So this is basically the story about these four sons, whose parents pass away, and they have to rely on themselves. And lo and behold, they are in the same school. They're at the same schools, and with the oldest father, sorry, with the oldest brother
Brother.
is
Yeah.
now a teacher.
Right. Yeah, and the two middle sons attend the same school. No, no,
Uh,
they don't actually. They're
they
they're
they
middle schoolers.
they middle schoolers, but they are in the same grade.
I don't believe they are. They're 11 months apart, so that's not
No, no, no,
possible.
no, no. But the thing is, yeah, I think this is pretty much like Japan thing. So one of them is born in April, and the other one is born in March. And the Japanese education system, I think they start in April.
Right.
So I think that would mean that other one who born between January and March of that year can still attend and like join the class of the older year.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that happens in America too, because the school year starts in either August or September, and you can
Yep.
have people who are 11 months apart in the same grade. I think that's possible, but
Yeah.
here I don't think they are in the same grade. I mean, you see
Huh.
the second son come to his class like once or twice in order to, like, you forgot your gym uniform, or hey, you
Yep.
forgot your lunch, or something along those lines. But they're not actually in the same grade. I don't think.
I think they're just not in the same class, but in the same grade because they still wear uh the same kind of uniform.
Well, they go to the
Uh,
same school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But by that I mean, like normally when people in the same in different grade, they have like different color for their uniform. Like
I think
the
that's mostly an anime girl thing.
yeah, well,
I don't think
yep,
boys' uniforms, and I mean, in real life, I imagine that girls' uniforms are also not really differentiated. Like at a middle school where there's just three grades,
yep. Well,
just
well, what?
economically, it'd be cheaper to have just one uniform, right?
Yeah, well, whatever the case, yeah, we get into the point of view of the third son, Minato, and he feeling that he could contribute more to the family, which Hayato, the eldest son, just doesn't really want to rely on him more. So the whole thing about the episode here is he want to help by like making more of the mess out of it.
Right. Yeah, he wants to do the laundry. He wants
Yeah,
to take the youngest sibling Gaku to the festival,
yeah,
and You know,
The
he's
fight were
just like
actually really well animated.
they
Just
weren't animated at all.
what do you mean by that?
I mean, that's just a digital effect.
Oh,
Somebody who has no ties to the anime industry whatsoever, you know,
yeah.
pre-animated those fireworks, and they come with like compositing software or editing software.
Uh-huh. All
They're
right.
not animated. I mean, whenever you see fireworks in a modern anime, nobody's drawing them. Not on a tablet, not on paper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
what don't you like about this show? I found a lot to enjoy.
I think it looks like crap.
Uh-huh.
The every interior scene just looks like it was put together extremely digitally. There's no life to any of the school rooms or their house. I feel like the writing is extremely rudimentary. Like everything revolves around the fact that he wants to be more helpful, and every single scene, every single conversation, everything about the episode is in service of that. For example, this scene where Minato comes home from school, I think, is the timing of the scene.
Yep.
And Gaku is, maybe they're not actually coming home from school. I don't know what the context is, but Gaku is like looking at a poster maybe for the fireworks festival.
Yep.
And Minato sees that and he's like, what are you doing? And Gaku's like, I
Okay.
remember, I have a vague memory of going to a fireworks festival, but I was not old enough and I don't remember it perfectly yet. And then the very next line is Minato thinking to himself, I see, Gaku doesn't have a clear memory of ever seeing fireworks before. Like the show has to double up on that concept just so it will be cemented in our heads.
Yep.
And then he's like, oh, okay, well, I now see an opportunity for my character to fulfill its purpose in this episode by taking you to the fireworks festival. Then, of course, he messes it up. The older brothers had to come and save him. They have a nice scene where they all watch the fireworks together. And it gives them an opportunity to reminisce about their parents. The way the episode starts with the introduction, this is the oldest brother, this is the second brother, this is the fourth brother, and I'm the third brother. And it's like I could write this episode. If I'm gonna watch a TV show, it should be something that I can't write. It should be something that feels imaginative or professional. Or this is not it, man. This is the sort of anime that AI will be writing in 5 years.
Yep. Yep. No personality, you mean?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, but the question of personality aside, like of course if the characters were a little bit more interesting, the episode would improve. But the structure of it is, I think, the main killer. Because it's just, you can watch the first 5 minutes of this episode and basically figure out where it's going. And visually, I think it's pretty lifeless as well. Yep. Like the scene for whenever Minato thinks to himself, like whenever he has a moment where he internally monologues, it'll be him in close up, tilted to a 45-degree angle, so not quite in profile, but also not directly facing the camera. So it's him tilted 45 degrees. Background goes black, and then there's a little digital effect of like white clouds kind of swirling around behind him.
Yeah.
This show does that, I think, 3 times. And every time it just looks like, no human being was involved in that decision. A computer just decided that's how it ought to look. I just get a complete sense of sterility and lifelessness from everything about this show. So I had to put it, even a show like Under Ninja that I was like, what the hell is this? At least I had like a feeling about it. It made me feel something, even if that was just like confusion and like helplessness. Watching this show, I was like, I was like, it was like I was hooked up to a heart monitor and I was flatlining.
Okay. Not too bad.
That's my rant.
All right. Yep. I have no defense against the show. I enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
nothing wrong with
a
that.
nice little story of like the family member coming together. I still feel that they lay a bit thick on like how Hayato, the eldest brother, just never consider the response, any emotion from Minato. But yeah, I this is something that on my maybe list. I gonna watch a few more.
All right. Well, maybe I don't know, man. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah,
Maybe there'll be some more interesting stories.
yeah.
Maybe the show could like split its focus. It seems pretty clear to me that Minato is going to be the main character on a regular. Like it'll be from his point of view every episode or almost every episode. But
Yep.
what might be neat is if each episode is from the point of view of a different brother. I think that could be cool. I don't think they'll
That
do that, but maybe it'll get like close to it somehow.
yeah, yeah, that can be cool. All right, so yeah, this is our 10th show for the full season. So anyone, happy new season for anime.
Yeah.
Long live the anime.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know about that. Long live Frieren. Actually, literally, long live Frieren. She's, hundreds of years old, probably.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. She may be immortal.
Could be. Not us, though. We have only a little bit of life to live, and we're spending it watching
Yeah,
anime.
so
Is it the best
we have to be
decision? Maybe not, but
yeah,
we're here.
so we have to be picky about what anime we're gonna watch and finish.
Right. Yep, we'll finish 3 of these, and we'll be back at you soon in a few months.